Hello and welcome to easyodds.com. My name is Russ Casey. I'm here with the horse racing extraordinaire that is Jake Johns to talk about the Tingle Creek.
It was the Fonz.
That was the Fonz. Such a dated reference, but fair enough. It's at Sandown on Saturday. It's a 2-mile Grade 1 chase. And before we go into it, let's have a brief look at the amazing effort from Jake on the weekend. He found 5 out of 6 winners, including a 39-1 double, Irving at 6-1, and the winner in the Hennessy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Hennessy from last week, which was a slight change from your video from last week.
Yeah, they're all going to be saying, if you haven't seen the tip, they're like, what are you talking about? You can't just pretend, you can't just lie and say you got found the winner of the Hennessy. Obviously, Native River won the Hennessy. My original pick got, Drumacoo got withdrawn due to the ground, I think. Obviously been off for a long time as well, so probably needs perfect ground for Ben Paul to want him to run. But anyway, ended up changing my tip, putting in Native River on Thursday, which was a good idea.
Absolutely.
Getting at 13-2. The closer it got to the time, the more I looked at it, I just thought, this, even though he's favourite, I mean, this has got a huge chance. I actually put it on Twitter. But I just think it was a fantastic run. Bit of a strange race. Don't know about any of the others, but the form of the 4-miler is working out so well from Cheltenham. I think he's got to go for the Gold Cup now. He's too young for the Grand National. I think he's got a great chance in the Gold Cup. I think he's got an absolutely fantastic chance, especially considering the race could cut up quite badly from now until then. Q card looks at almost certainty, but other than that, you can't really say Jackadam, I guess. But then the others, Don Cossack, big question marks. Thistlecrack, much better at Newbury at the weekend, but it could go wrong for him still. He was really good. His jumping was a lot better, but he was still a bit chancy a couple. But in the whole, he seemed to have learned a lot from Cheltenham. So he's the right favourite, definitely, 100%. I'd say he's just could be an absolute. Well, he is a monster, and on his hurdles one. But anyway, yeah, Native River, just a really good stayer, fantastic stayer. Unbelievably good ride from Richard Johnson, classic Johnson, just kept him ticking over on the front. Jumped much better than he usually does as well. Got into a rhythm. Obviously, he got kind of tired at the end. I mean, it looked like he got tired, but I think he actually got just wondered a bit because he was in front for so long, so far ahead. And he just won in the end. But I was worried because I had a humongous Canadian on.
Yeah.
And I won loads of money.
And another winner there, 13-2, Native River.
Yep.
But now let's move on to this Saturday coming, which is the Tingle Creek at Sandown. Let's listen to the views of Jake Johns.
These are 2 brilliant weeks of racing. I mean, you got the Tingle Creek, and you've got obviously the Hennessy last weekend. Tingle Creek's absolutely amazing, and I'm probably going to go. I think still haven't bought tickets yet, but I think I'm probably going to go. It's just such a good
complimentary at this point, surely, after all these great tips.
It should be complimentary, but it just isn't. It just isn't. I'm going to have to just go and pay like everyone else. Shocking. But anyway, fantastic race. Won last year by Side of Grugy in kind of controversial fashion, but still won the last 3 runnings of this. Back for another pot this time round. He could have a harder task on his plate. Maybe it's a small field, but Undersur's lining up. Previous Arkle winner, champion chase second, but you'd be mad to write off the old timer Side of Grugy now. So yeah, it was all about Duvan in midweek. His price just started free falling into odds on for some reason. No one knows why really. Everyone kind of assumed that it was because loads of money was put on, but I don't think it was that. I won't go into that now, but it was odds on from 5-1 in about 3 hours, but went to about 4-7. But he's not taking part, not running. Drifted out to about 11-8, and now, he's not running. They decided to run him so instead. Not really sure why. I think it's much more suited to Duvan, and yeah, I just think he probably would have a better chance. But maybe they think they can do it with Underso anyway, so it's fine. But anyway, Underso takes his place. He's a worthy favourite, obviously, but he's got a lot more marks about him in terms of his winning capability compared to Duvan, who obviously almost definitely would have won. Makes the race a lot more competitive, which is kind of good, I suppose. Yep. It's a good and a bad thing, you know? But yeah, he's obviously really talented. He's won 15 of his 20 starts, which is just unreal. You know, not going to be... You're a really good horse. He won 15 of his 20 starts. And he won it, especially as a novice, it was absolutely fantastic. It's free-going style and his gung-ho style looks really good. It was amazing as a novice, absolutely demolished horses from the front, just one by one they kind of came off the bridle when he was just there smashing it from the front. But occasionally when horses go like that, they kind of go on the downgrade a little bit sooner than other types. I mean, because they obviously put everything on the line. And last year it looked that he looked like we might have found his level.
Okay.
He got absolutely smashed by Spinner Sacker at this track. He did still come second. He got beaten by Spinner Sacker at Cheltenham as well. I don't know. The thing I worry about him a lot is his ability on fast ground. That's the main problem. He's won 15 of his 20 starts, but he's only won once on fast ground, even close to fast ground, and that had good soft in it, so that had a bit of juice. Well, it was a really quick time actually, and when he won the Arkle. But I just don't think he's as good as he was when he won the Arkle. I think he's a little bit worse than then. So I'm taking him on at 2-1. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen to his price. It could, because it's a Willie Mullins. It's his first runner in England this season. It could shorten. And hopefully it does, because then the others will go high. But he's obviously got a fantastic chance. He could just be too good for these easily. And he won in France after this season when he looked pretty good as well. And then he blew up over 3 miles, which is kind of understandable as first attempt. But I think he could be too good. But I'm going to be looking elsewhere at that price. Next up is Mad for Gary Moore. Really, really impressive last season. One of the stories of the season. First, he wasn't ever going to the champion chase because he doesn't like going left-handed, won't like Cheltenham, but he definitely likes going right-handed, and he really likes Sandown. A lot of Gary Moore horses. He had a fantastic day here last season, and a lot of Gary Moore's, well, they all seem to like Sandown, and they all also tend to like going right-handed better for some reason. I don't know why, but probably because they like Sandown so much. But he basically, I would worry about his ability first time out. The only race he lost last season was first time, where he looked like he needed to run a lot. Yeah. He's done it in the past as well. He's about 11-4. If he comes back on the level of form that he was when he finished the season last year, injury cut it short, but massive chance as well. Bit of an unknown, absolutely massive chance. He beat Bristol de May by a long way when he front ran, and that was a bit of a turnout, but I'm not a big fan of Bristol de May. I've said that before in the past, so I'm not sure about that form. But anyway, also got a good chance. But I'm not tipping in either. That leaves me with Cider Garugi, the other Gary Moore horse, old boy, 10-year-old, and God's Own. I mean, I've been tipping God's Own for so much. I tipped him for the champion chase without the favourite last season, and came 4th, but it was alright. And well, the favourite didn't even win anyway. But anyway, he ran all right, but I don't think he likes Cheltenham that much. Okay. I don't think it's his best track at all. But anyway, yeah, I'll talk about Cider Garugi first, because he's a 10-year-old now, but he looked as good as ever last time, carrying top weight at Ascot. Jumped really, really well. Usually that's a bit of a problem for him, but he jumped like an absolute stag, giving weight away with the whole field, like I said. He's just got a tremendous chance on that, even on that form. And he's a 3-time winner here. Huge chance. But the only thing that edges it for me is the price. He's 3-1, God's Own is 5-1. So yeah, God's Own. He ran a Storm reappearance when second to third intention, giving lumps and weight away at Chepstow on his first run. Probably, almost definitely would have won that day. I would say almost definitely would have won. But he got hampered 3 out to basically a standing start. Managed to get his rhythm again. Started staying on at the finish, and yeah, just didn't have enough time. But a quarter of a furlong further, and he would have won. Yeah. Probably about 10 metres further, and he would have won. But yeah, and then next time they decided there was whispers about him going for the Betfair chase, 3 miles, which has been a huge mistake. And they didn't anyway because it was horrendous ground. And the ground at Ascot wasn't bad, but it was on the soft side of good to soft, I'd say. It wasn't proper fast ground, which he would have needed, because that was his fastest. I mean, that was his furthest trip he's ever tackled since his point-to-point days, which he only had 1 run in. So 21 furlongs. He's going to need it to be super fast if he's going to win that. But he travelled like an absolute dream. Going over the last, he must have traded really, really short, because he looked like it was an absolute certainty. But after the final fence, he just started to weaken. I'm pretty sure it was the ground twinned with the little bit of extra step up in trip from even, I think 2 miles is optimum, as I'll say later, but I think 21 furlongs was really pushed him, especially on that ground. So yeah, and if he, like I said, if he wants 20, if he's going to get 20, he did win at 20 last season, won a Grade 1 at Aintree. But if he wants that kind, he's going to need fast ground. But in my opinion, his best conditions altogether are good ground, which he's going to get on Saturday. Yeah. Going right-handed, which he's going to get on Saturday, and 2 miles. All of those things are absolutely perfect. That's his optimum conditions. That's what he got as Punchestown when he beat Vautour by 2 lengths. I mean, Vautour wasn't at his best that day by any means, but he still beat him by 2 lengths. Vautour, that's absolutely ridiculous. That's crazy good form. He does run well at Punchestown, but Sandown's right-handed as well. It's going to be good ground again, and it's going to be 2 miles, which is perfect for him. And thinking back, I don't think Tom George was actually doing that well. When obviously he's had a really good season, he did really well at the start, but there was a little bit in the middle. I think it was during the 1965 Chase at Ascot where he didn't have that many winners, but recently he's been absolutely nailing it. They've been flying in for him. So he's had 7 winners from his last 13 runners, and he's had a second in that time. So more than 50% strike rate from his last 13 runners, and second place. This is a really, really competitive race. Any of the top 4 could win, and I would not be surprised if any of them did win. But I'm going to go give God's Own another shot at 5 to 1. It's an alright price in a 6-runner race. Go for it.
Absolutely. So there's another pick there from Jake Johns, who, as we've already alluded to in the start of this video, he's been in absolutely great form, and he's staying away from the top 2 in the market here. So he's going for a big price, 5 to 1, with God's Own, from the God's Gift to Horse Racing Tips.
Oh, God's Gift.
Jake Johns.
Too much. Don't God's Gift for that.
So thanks very much for watching. I've been Ross Casey. This is Jake Johns. Don't forget to press the subscribe button in the bottom corner, and to comment and like the video if you have any thoughts on Jake's tip. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Ross Casey. This is the Horse Racing's Gift from God. Jake Johns.
I hate that. God's Gift.